All right, here we go. Well, welcome. My name is Dave Friedman. This is the very first ever BJJ Business and Martial Arts Marketing podcast. We are here with Gannon from Virginia. Are you from Virginia?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yeah,
awesome.
Fredericksburg,
Where in
Virginia.
Virginia are you from?
Fredericksburg.
Where is that? Where
It's
is
like
that?
an hour north of Richmond, kind of like an hour and a half south of DC.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, DC, I know they have a lot of amazing food out there. One of my guys
Oh yeah.
was in the Marines and he was like Camp Pendleton. Is that
Yeah,
right? That's
yeah,
out there? That's
for
okay,
sure.
good. I got it right. Okay. Um, Well, man, I read a little bit about you and see kind of what you're doing, but I mean, thank you so much for coming in to do this with us today. Um, so tell me your story. Like, how did you get started in jiu-jitsu? How did you get started becoming like an academy owner?
Awesome, man. So first of all, thank you so much for having me. Like this is super cool. I'm super honored to be the first
Oh, well,
first
there we
one,
go.
and I'm excited to get it started. So
Okay, don't take me in. Hopefully, it's not a total disaster. No, I'm just
no.
kidding. It should be a lot
So
of fun. A lot of fun.
the way that I got into jujitsu, so I've been training what 10, 11 years now.
Okay.
I've been a black belt for I think about two.
Okay.
So I started jujitsu in 2014 under James Coleman, Darcy O'Leary Jiu-Jitsu.
No way. Are you serious?
Yeah,
We have a guy, Darcy's here in the Bay Area. I'm here in California. We're in the Bay Area.
there you
You from the
go.
Bay? You came from the
No,
Bay
no,
Area?
I do know them though. Yeah, dude, small
Okay, like
world,
Carlos and
bro.
those guys. And
Yeah, bro, it is such a small world in this jujitsu community, bro.
I always say
I
it's like a
swear,
traveling circus. Everybody kind of knows everybody. Yeah, Dawson is super cool, man. You know, I think he's like this big, kind of strong guy.
bro.
But I've
He is
seen him talk to these
beefy.
people and see how he works, interacts with the kids, and like this, like a real genuine, like caring, like person, man. So
Oh yeah,
what's
dude.
up?
I had nothing but great experiences over there. Like I can't say enough good about James Coleman and Darlinson and all of the experiences that I had over there were amazing. Eventually, like when I became a purple belt, I was kind of looking for more of like a competitive atmosphere.
Hmm.
So I think that was probably what like 2017. So
Okay.
I was like I think 19, maybe 20.
Oh
And
wow, wow. Okay.
I was looking into oh, I'm 27 now.
Okay.
So I
Good.
started
I feel like
jujitsu when
27
I
is a
was
good
17.
age. I feel like 25 to 20, you're like super teenager. You know what I'm saying? I think
100%.
27 to 28, I'm really like, okay, I gotta figure it out here. I'm turning 45 this year, so I've
Oh man, dude,
well, man,
I
yeah,
never
anyway.
would have guessed that, bro.
Oh, yeah, I moisturize the
Bro,
sunscreen every
hell
day.
yeah.
Wish good looks. No, I'm just kidding. But okay, that's what's up. Okay.
So
So
so yeah, it was like 2019. I found myself I was a purple belt. I went over to Beta Academy in DC.
okay.
And
Oh
that
yeah,
was
with I met the guy Nakapon.
dude, he is like Knock is a fantastic guy, like awesome jujitsu. He feels like he's 700 pounds and he's like
Oh
185,
wow.
something like that. Like he's a really stand-up guy, awesome businessman, like really
Yeah.
inspiring coach. Like
I met
I
him a
really
long time ago. I met him like, geez, 2010 maybe at like
oh
a
man,
seminar.
he's been in
Really
it for
cool guy.
I don't even know how long, and I think he's like right around your age, and he's what like a fourth degree black belt or something like that. It's
Yeah,
wild, man.
yeah. That's just okay. So then
So
you're training with those guys for a while?
yeah, so I trained with them for I think I was with Beta Academy for another like 3 years or so.
Hmm.
So I trained. I was in Fredericksburg and I was traveling to DC every single day to to do it. Like I dropped out of college to do jujitsu.
Oh, nice. What were you studying?
I mean, I literally got through like general education and
Ah,
I
nice.
was out. Yeah, I was
I'm sure your
planning on
parents were
going into
stoked.
teaching.
I'm just kidding.
What's up?
I'm sure mom and dad were stoked about
Oh,
that.
dude, they were pissed. Oh my god, that's like a big part of like why I got into jujitsu and all of that kind of stuff. I
Yeah.
moved out when I was like 18,
Okay.
and it was kind of because of that. Like I wanted to do jujitsu. They were
Yeah.
like, "No, you're going to college," and I'm like,
I
"No,
feel
I'm
like that's a
not."
common
Like,
thread. I feel like
yeah.
anyone that owns a school at some point had that similar experience. So
Totally,
that's
and
what's
they
up.
come back around for people who have gone through it like me. Like they've definitely come back around. They're like my biggest supporters at this point.
Yeah.
They just got to see the
We love
proof
the
like
kids,
after a
man. We
while.
love the kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Okay.
So,
So I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
oh, so after that, I started Nexus BJJ, back in the day, out of Renegade Combat Sports, and I was a
Okay.
purple belt. I
So
really just wanted.
did you have like your section inside of another gym? Was that kind of,
Exactly.
oh, okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was kind of like I was running a program out of an MMA gym, basically.
Yeah.
Like I was
Yeah.
the jujitsu guy there, and awesome
Okay.
people there. I had a great time. Like I really built up a good foundation of, like, I don't know, like 30-ish students at our peak. It was
Okay.
right before COVID. So
Ooh.
right when COVID
Ooh.
came around, like I just stopped doing it, and I might have done like some online lessons and things like that.
Oh wow. So
But
you stopped the whole thing. You stopped everything when
I
COVID?
stopped the whole thing because
Wow.
they kind of stopped their stuff, so I
Yeah.
couldn't
Yeah.
do my stuff. So that was kind of the time that I got connected with Keenan, because I was posting a lot on social media, trying
Oh,
to
good.
stay
Good.
like
Good.
in the mindset of like, after this is over, I'm gonna get back at it, because
Yeah.
at the time I was super into competition
Yeah.
and things
Yeah.
like that. So it kind of like, put the brakes on, I guess, a lot of people's businesses and dreams and things like that. It really
A lot of
changed a lot
people
of
have a
people's
lot of
lives.
things. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
So right around that time, they were doing a big giveaway for like a lapel a lapel day type giveaway thing,
Yeah,
where
the
they were going to fly
Octathon,
someone
the
out.
Octopus guard. Yeah. Shout out to Kenny,
Exactly.
by the way. That guy is like everyone kind of comes along, I think, adds their different flavors to jiu-jitsu. You know what I'm saying? The Eddie Bravos, the Hicksons, the Hodgers, you know what I mean? And Keenan for sure definitely has like had his mark on
He made
jiu-jitsu.
his mark for sure, bro. It's like there will always, like, there will be hate. It's such a
I
polarizing
mean,
topic,
people didn't
right?
even like Mother Teresa. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Believe that or not.
exactly.
Right? They killed
Exactly.
Martin Luther King Jr. for crying out
People just
loud. You
can't
know, he
agree. People just can't agree, bro.
so anyway, not saying comparing the two, but yeah, people always find something wrong with some. Yeah. Some
But yeah,
people don't
man,
like
it was,
barbecue. To me, that's
yeah.
crazy. No, I'm just kidding.
So anyways, we got connected, and I went out there for like a week, and I was kind of getting
This is
I
when
was
he
in.
opened up his spot, right? The American.
Exactly, it's
Okay, dope.
Legion.
How
And
cool is it? It looks really cool. How
oh,
cool is
bro,
that? It looked really
it's
cool, right?
massive, bro. It's
Oh
it's
my
it's
gosh.
gonna be one of the biggest gyms in the world, if it already isn't. I think they're at
Wow.
like something like 800, 900 members at this point.
Holy
Like, they have
moly.
a really, really well-oiled machine there. Like
Yeah.
I mean, they obviously really, really care about what they're doing there, and it has like, there's a vibe there, like a movement, with the
Good,
American Jiu
good.
Jitsu thing.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
That's what's up. Okay. So you lived in is it in San Diego or something, right?
Yeah, so I moved
Okay.
from Fredericksburg, Virginia, to San Diego, California. So like super, like, pretty small
Okay.
town
Let me
too.
ask you this. So I'm from Seattle. I grew up in
Mhm.
Seattle. Most moved down here in California in 2000. Uh, I was too cold for me, bro. I'm too skinny for all
Oh
that.
yeah.
I'm not built for that. You know what I'm saying? So
Oh no, I feel you.
Virginia, I think, is about the same kind of like
Yep.
earth plane kind of thing as Seattle, more or less. What was your experience like in San Diego? Like seeing the
Oh man, it's
sunshine and the palm trees and like,
beautiful. Oh, bro. I mean, if it didn't cost an arm and a leg and a kidney to live
yeah,
there, oh, bro, I would be like, no problem.
therein lies
And
the dilemma.
living out there, bro, I didn't want to leave at all. I only
Yeah.
came back to start Nexus, truthfully. Like
Oh,
my
okay.
both my wife and I were like, we loved it out there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. So then you went to a Keenan, did your thing, and then when did you get like the idea of like, man, I'm gonna do my own school now. I've been to these other academies. I've seen these other like awesome people do stuff. Like, when was it like? Is this something you were always thinking of, or like,
Yeah, that was
was
kind
there
of
an
my.
event that happened? I was like, yo, we can do this kind of thing.
It was kind of just realizing that there wasn't a crazy amount of money in competitive jujitsu, or at least at the time. Like, nowadays it's a little bit different, but there
Yeah.
was just like nothing out there
Yeah.
at the time.
Well, I think all
So yeah,
competitive sports are like that. Like people can see like, oh, I'll make Floyd Mayweather money. I was like,
right.
statistically, that's like point zero zero zero
It's
zero
like
zero
10
zero
guys
percent
maybe.
of people are making maybe just one, right?
Yeah,
To be honest, like
in
okay,
our
maybe
sport,
Canelo,
exactly.
potentially McGregor, but yeah, it's a lesson we learn in our 20s for sure.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
and it's painful when you're like, oh
respectfully.
yeah, oh no, I feel you. Like, I totally, it slaps you in the face. It slaps you in the face for sure. But it was also, it kind of like, put me in a different direction in my life where now, I mean, I get super excited about business and things that are like, I just get excited about different things. I guess my perspective has just shifted, especially with like accumulating injuries over the years, you know, that now I'm like, I joke that I'm old and stuff like that on the mats a lot because like you just get beat up over
You're in your prime, brother. You're
yeah,
just
I
like,
know, right? And that's the sad part about it. It's like, bro, if this is the prime, damn.
It gets worse. No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. It gets different. It gets different. Okay, so you moved to Nexus. When did you guys open up Nexus?
So
Is it just you, or do you have business partners? You and your
so
wife?
yeah,
Or?
I do have business partners.
Nice.
They're silent investors.
Okay,
They do
good.
train jujitsu. They train actively. And they're both awesome. They help me whenever I need them. That like one of them is more of like an investor, like mentor type, and then one of them is like a day-to-day, like he helps me throughout a whole bunch of stuff.
That's so important, bro. Like people don't understand like how important it is to have like the team. Like, you know, there's so
Exactly.
many,
Yeah.
even, you know, myself doing this like for so long, like you can't do it all yourself. You think you can, you try it, and then next thing you know, you're just, it's not fun anymore. You know what
Oh,
I'm saying?
dude.
So,
Yeah, I think so. We've been open for a little bit over a year and we have like 11 employees or like 11
oh
instructors between
wow,
everyone. Yeah, it's
that's what's up.
pretty and we like overdo it because I have other things that I have my hands in. Like
Yeah,
I previously like had my hands in another business and now I have another job. So I'm
nice.
kind of like spread thin. So I'm trying to make sure that don't get me wrong, I want to be there for my students, but I only have so
Yeah.
much time throughout the week. So I mean, we have multiple black belts, multiple brown belt instructors, so they're well kept taken care of.
Okay, so you work at, this is like, so the academy is kind of like your part-time thing while you're doing other kind of jobs type thing, or like?
Exactly. Yeah. So I just shifted. I'm in sales. Like I've done a
Oh,
bunch of different sales sales type jobs and like project manager type jobs or more
okay.
like account manager
Oh,
really.
okay, okay,
But yeah.
okay. So like you left Keenan's, left California, huh?
Yeah.
Go back to Virginia. You open up your thing. Like I think when we open up gyms and stuff, we have like a certain expectation of like
Mhm.
what it's gonna be like. Like what would you say that has been for you thus far? Like
Dude,
being a gym owner, being a gym owner.
it is far more difficult than I expected. And mostly just from the idea of it is what you make it, you know? So
Mm.
if it fails, that is up to you. If it succeeds, that is also up to you. So
Mm.
I choose to work 24/7 basically because I wanted to succeed so much.
Yeah.
And I see business owners, especially in the jiu-jitsu realm, where they think that they can put 20% effort in and get the $1 million gym owner type perks. You know, you just can't do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I mean, eventually that's the dream, right? To be able to
Right.
put in a little, but it for sure takes that extra, you know, kind of thing. How many students do you guys have now? If you feel, you know.
Yeah, for sure. So we're hovering right around 150 members.
Oh, dope. Okay,
So
that's great, bro.
it's been going really well. We're already looking into potentially like expanding the space. I think our space is right around like 4,000 square feet.
Oh, wow,
So we're
wow.
looking into
Okay.
something more like 10 to
Woo.
15 ideally. We're definitely shooting for it. I mean, especially since we do have a lot of like we have great financial backing. So we're
Yeah,
definitely
yeah,
going
yeah.
to go for it pretty aggressively. So within 3 years, I'm expecting to have like 350 to 500 students ideally. So
Oh, that's what's up, man. Okay. So like, is there something now that you feel like you can do now as like a jujitsu business owner that you couldn't do as like working a regular job full time kind of thing? Like, do you find like the
yeah,
lifestyle is different, or like how has that impacted you? I guess like having this be such a big part of your life now in a business.
yeah.
Again.
I think what it does is it makes you every other product or service that I've ever sold before, it's like, don't get me wrong, I believe that it's going to help people,
Mhm,
but
mhm.
I really believe that jujitsu is going to help people because I've been in it, I've seen it happen for so many different people. So
Yeah,
I just deeply believe in the product or the service.
dude, that is so. I mean, just to your point, like, I think especially since being in sales and stuff like that, like we can sell people on stuff, we can do all the sales tricks and all this kind of stuff, but like ultimately, and like just like you said, bro, like if you really believe in what you do and your general intention is like,
Right.
dude, this is gonna fucking change. Excuse me, this is gonna
Yeah,
change
no,
your
I
God. Please
feel
that
you.
one out. Oh, please
I
that one
feel
out. Hey,
you.
that. But it's gonna change your life forever. And if that's your intention and that's the reason why you're trying to convince someone to do it, like it generally tends to work a lot better.
Totally.
Okay, so as like Jiu-Jitsu Academy owners, we have like our idea of who we want as like students and stuff like that. You know, you were a competitor, you've done this for a long time. Like, what would you say is like your perfect client? Like, who's your perfect client?
Well, so for the niche that I'm going after is specifically families because
Mm,
I think that that is so my like mission statement with Nexus is
mm,
I wanted to bring as like I wanted to spread jujitsu as large as I possibly can inside of my hometown, which is Fredericksburg,
mm,
Virginia, right? So
mm.
there are of course other great schools that are doing awesome things, but like I want to be a huge part of like spreading that. So
Yeah.
I for me, my ideal person would be a family man
Mm,
in his like mid to late 20s or
mm,
early 30s that has a wife and a few children that he's
mm,
interested in all of them getting into jiu-jitsu like that's pretty
mm.
much like who I'm looking for and
Yeah.
it's not just a finances thing because we're giving them the best deal per person of everyone.
Yeah.
It's just to spread jujitsu as far and wide as possible because if we can get it to be kind of like soccer, you know, I came from soccer. I played like 16 years before I got into
Oh, nice.
jujitsu.
My
So
cousin is the assistant coach of the Philadelphia Union soccer team.
for
I don't
real,
know if you
oh
watch
dude, that's
MLS,
sick.
but
Oh
they're
yeah,
like a pretty. I didn't. Okay, I was like, you know, he's like my first cousin. We was like little boys, like, oh, little
yeah,
Ryan, you know, and he's like a soccer, and he came out here to play. I think I was like, oh man, y'all really doing some stuff, dude. The
yeah,
first year they came out like years and years ago, it was like they was playing soccer at like the county fair or something like that, bro. It was like
bro.
really now you have like big old stadiums and stuff. So
Yeah,
like,
oh they're
yeah,
massive.
it's really
Yeah,
come up a lot.
dude,
So
that's sick.
you went from soccer then to get into. I mean, I think anytime you kind of compete in something, like it transfers over, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think
Right.
with so when I was playing soccer, it was just I was never that good. Like I tried
Mm,
really hard and I played
mm,
for my childhood, but I was
yeah,
never that good. Like I was like decent at best. So when
yeah,
I got into jujitsu, things just like came very easily to me. Like I didn't feel the I can't relate to the typical jujitsu story of like I struggled really hard like throughout my
yeah,
entire journey. Like
yeah,
it came very quickly. So it was kind of like a different it was the only thing in my life that just came easily and naturally to me,
yeah, yeah,
truthfully. And don't get me wrong, like I worked hard like everyone else, but I do feel that like a lot of times throughout my jujitsu journey, I've been able to kind of like get around working so hard just
yeah,
because it like
yeah,
clicks, you know?
yeah, yeah. You don't have to like. Yeah, I showed this guy the other day, big heavyweight dude is like, I'm not gonna overpower you. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna like
Right.
just kind of we're just gonna hold it here.
Right.
It looks like
Yeah.
getting more tired, and then I'll just kind of you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm holding it here. So yeah, totally. Okay. So what would you say? Do you have like what's your elevator pitch? Someone says, hey, what are you at a party? You having a drink? Say, oh, hey, what do you do? You know, I hate that question. I do all kinds of things, but you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
what do you tell people? What is like your pitch? You think?
The first thing that I ask them is like, have you heard of Joe Rogan? That's like an automatic
Mm,
yes, right?
mm,
And then you're like, oh yeah, you know the martial art that he does, you know, like
mm,
jujitsu. Have you heard of jujitsu? And they're like, yeah, but I kind of like don't really know what it is. Like, is that like karate or whatever? And it's like, no, no, no. Think like you have you seen the UFC? Then I
it's
go the
Mexican
UFC
ground
route.
karate. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, exactly. It's just exactly. So some of that I'll hit them with it like go super like hit the Kia with them
Mm.
and like joke
Yeah,
about
that's
like,
amazing. I might do that next time somebody asks me.
oh
I'm just
bro,
gonna
you
like,
got to Kia them
this is
once
what
or
I do.
twice.
Yeah,
Just
yeah. No,
give
just
them one
kidding.
or two, just weaken them
This
and then
one.
just hit them
That's
with
what I'm
a
gonna do.
like a
I'm gonna
death
write that
blow.
down. I'm gonna write that down.
Never
PI.
ask me that again.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, like I'll kind of like relate to something that is pop culture, like something that everyone
Mm,
can kind of know. So like Joe
okay.
Rogan, UFC, I'll tell them like, oh, Conor McGregor, remember like when he lost like by guillotine, you know,
Yeah.
like how
Yeah.
he got choked out? Like
Uh-huh.
that's what I teach, like the
Okay.
ground
Okay.
stuff.
Yeah. Somebody asked me this the other day. What's your pitch? And I was like, all right, I don't really have a pitch. I said, yeah, we teach jiu-jitsu and kickboxing. And then
Right.
some people
Yeah.
were like, oh, kick jiu-jitsu, kick. Oh, okay. And I'm like, yeah, come on down or whatever. So
And
then
you're
like
in California, right?
I'm in California. We're in the city called Hayward, which is next to Oakland. It's like there's San Francisco and it's like the East Bay. Well, you
Gotcha.
tell me, didn't you come out here?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay. Where'd you stay in California in the Bay Area?
I
Were you
was
here in the Bay?
in I think I was in Sarah Mesa.
Oh, that's like
Does that
so
sound
cool, nigga.
familiar?
That's
That's
like
like
really
it's
fun.
like San Diego.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Darcio, he has a school, or Carlos, his brother, has a school maybe 12, 15 minutes from us here.
Oh
So
wow,
when they
nice.
bring their kids here, we do little term stuff.
Dude,
So
small world.
it really is a traveling circus, man. So like you're a business guy now, went from championship dreams to like, wait a minute, I gotta pay some bills here. Let's make this stuff happen. Like, what is your process to like talking to new people? What's your process to like getting new leads and stuff like that? Like, you call, text, email. Like, what is
Oh
how
yeah,
do people like sign up for your stuff?
so I mean, in the last 6 months, especially, we've really got a well-oiled machine at this
Oh,
point.
nice.
Like we bring in like over 100 leads a month at this point.
Oh,
So
good.
and most of that is done with ads and AI.
Okay.
AI is a massive, massive part of like how I do
What's the AI?
marketing
We do
in
some like
general.
commercials and their faces kind of like some lady was like, his face looks all crazy. I was like, oh, okay, we just had to redo that. Is it like an AI ad generator or something or?
It's kind of like I'll do the ads. So like social media posts, I'll see how they do, and then if the subject has like good traction, then I'll like put a CTA and like a hook in it and like
Mhm.
make it kind of formatted to like drive them towards filling out a form. And
Mhm.
then from there, the AI kind of like fills out everything, all the information in a CRM and like
Okay.
organizes it
Yeah,
and like
yeah, yeah.
sends them an automatic text and email, and it sends a text to my salesperson, and they like it does a lot of the work. It does the work of like 6 people for like $20 a month.
Wow. Which one are you using? What's it called?
Zapier
Oh,
is
Zapier. Yeah, Zapier.
incredible.
Sure,
It's
yeah.
incredible, and it's so
Okay, yeah, that's
basic.
like you
It's
can
nothing
connect.
crazy. Like anyone can do it.
Yeah, you connect all. I mean, back in the day, it was like Mailchimp and this and this and that. Now it's
Yeah.
like super
And don't get
integrated.
me wrong, I've used other ones, but that's the one that like has stayed throughout the entire like couple years that I've been
Yeah,
using that kind of
yeah.
stuff.
Okay. So, what would you say is like the worst part about trying to get new students?
Ooh. So the worst part is probably the student that comes in for like a free trial or something, and the
Mhm.
first thing they say is, I have no money. I'm just here to check this out or something like that. And it's like,
Mhm.
okay, well, I mean, you're more than welcome to stay, but the whole idea of a free trial is to like get you interested, to like get you to do something. And it's like from a jujitsu point of view, but that's also from the other point of it. It's like, I want to spread jujitsu. So that also will sometimes like sway people into believers, is what I call them, right? Like they
Mhm.
start believing in jujitsu. So
Mhm.
I'm happy to do like we do a lot of free. We've done like free months for some free female projects. Like
Mhm.
we've done a lot of free things just to kind of like spread awareness, because in California, you say jujitsu or kickboxing, a lot of people are like, I have a cousin who does that, I know this
Yeah,
guy who
yeah,
does that. In
yeah. My coworker
Fredericksburg,
does that.
Virginia, they're like, what the hell are you
Yeah,
talking about,
right.
bro?
What?
Like, you
What?
know
Is that some kind of religious thing? No, I'm just
yeah,
kidding.
exactly. They're
Uh,
like, bro, you guys are wrestling with tight shirts, bro. And I'm
you
like,
know,
yeah,
it's
wait a
so
minute,
funny you
hold
say
on,
that. I
pause.
started jujitsu in like the winter of like 1999 when you used to have to go and like rent UFCs at like the video store and like Blockbuster and stuff like that. And the people that were training then, like it was not like today, bro.
No, no,
It
it's a
was not
different
like
crowd.
jujitsu is for everybody,
Yeah.
bro. It was like everyone's there trying to rip your head off. There is no, it was really brutal. And no one knew what it was, but I think jujitsu finds a way like to get people into it. It
Yeah.
finds a way like it's I mean, there's so many benefits you get from it. The hard work, the learning about what you're capable of, the camaraderie, the humility, the discipline, the wins, the losses. Like I think it's just such an all-encompassing like path to growth for people that
Yeah.
like people will kind of find their way to kind of do it, man. So
Yeah,
um
it sells itself, man. Like that's
yeah,
the beauty of it. Like it's in like money aside and business aside, it's like jujitsu is something that I'm so shameless about selling it. I'll try
yeah,
and sell it
yeah,
to anyone because I
yeah.
know it's good for anyone.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
not like
Good.
another
I love that
product,
you're that guy. That's
you
what's
know.
up. Because it really is. It really is. When you come up, when you're like, we're all in the jiu-jitsu cult. I try to
I'm
tell my
gonna at
guys,
least give it a shot,
yeah, can you try
try
it
and
out
get them
once?
into the cult.
And it may not be you. It may not be for you. We have some moms that come and train, and they did it for a couple weeks, and she was like, it's not for me.
Not for me, and it's like, all right,
You
that's fine.
retired. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, yeah,
You're
it's all
retired.
good.
If you want to come out of retirement, that's okay. Um, So, all right. So then it sucks, obviously, getting people that, come in that don't have any money. I mean, yeah, I've had people like that come in and will be like, I'm just telling them, I'm like, the free trials for people that really want to do it. If you're just doing
Right.
it for no
Yeah.
intention, there's a amazing free boxing program down the street for the community, bro. Go
Yeah.
see Manny. He's an amazing guy. And when you're ready, then let me know. We can make something happen.
Yeah.
Um, so what are you currently doing now to get more sales and get more students? I know you said the AI, the ads, like what is kind of like your sales approach?
Yeah, I mean, like at this point, now that we have a decent base of like 150 people, I think we're at, like, to be exact, like we're at like 148 as of
Mhm.
this morning. So um we're kind of creating different offers that we can do to kind of incentivize our student base to tell their friends. So
Mhm.
such as like, hey, you bring in someone and they sign up, I will do a private lesson with both of you. Or
Mhm.
something along the lines of like both of you guys get free gi or free merch or whatever it may
Mhm.
be, to just kind of like, hey guys, spread the good word. We're happy to incentivize you, and it benefits everyone because then you have more people to train with,
Okay.
especially the new people, because we were very fortunate to open up with, like, remember how I had that base of like 30 people
Yeah,
from
yeah, yeah.
before I went out to Keenan's, because I
Uh,
had Nexus for about like 6 months or so,
yeah.
and built up like 30 students. It was like a very small program. Then I went to San Diego for like 2 years, and then I came back and I retained like 20 or 15 of those
Oh,
30
okay.
people. So it's pretty good. So, and most of them were like upper belts. So
Mhm.
we had a bunch of upper belts from the get. So we were kind of like almost struggling to get white belts in the beginning, because they would
Yeah.
come in and all they have is
Everyone
brown
is
belts
like,
and black belts to
yeah.
roll with. So it's kind of
Day
rough.
one, ultimate fight. New
Yeah.
guy. Yeah. Okay.
So
So
it's kind of shifted over time. So now it's like, we of course we love to get white belts all the time, but we have so many white belts at this point because we're really
yeah.
good at selling our main offer, which is the beginner's course.
Okay.
That now we're kind of really focused on like incentivizing people to compete, incentivizing people to like spread the good word and things like that, because they're free leads on top of the ads that are consistent, you know?
Yeah. Okay. And then you're running ads too? You're doing like,
Oh, yeah. So
oh,
we
nice.
have a massive budget for like our marketing budget has done nothing but this as we've gone.
Oh,
We're just scaling with, because until my sales team doesn't, like, if they go under a certain percentage of closing, which for me is 25%, if we go under
nice.
25% of closing, then I'm not going to stop. Like, I'm just going to keep on
Mm,
bringing, I'm going to keep on pushing the envelope, because we do have that financial backing, that if we
yeah.
did want to kind of like financially overextend ourselves a little bit, we could do that for the greater good of like expanding faster.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Um, and then so let me see here. My last question. With your sales, do you have like a salesperson or is it like a group of people or like that kind of
So,
thing? Or like,
so both myself and my boy Evan, he's one of my brown belts. So he's my
okay.
front desk guy, and he's also the salesperson. So he does a lot. Like he's a full time employee,
Oh, nice.
and he does everything from, so every morning when he wakes up, he will look at our app, and it will show like all of the leads that came in. It's usually 3 to 5 a day.
Mm,
And then he will reach out to them. The AI will send messages and things like that, but usually just to like reach out to them initially, and then Evan takes it from there, so they have an actual human to interact with. um, and he'll call them, text them, email them, all of that good stuff, get them in, and then he'll show them around, and give them to one of our assistant instructors, and like have them do a trial class, and kind of like like manage the sales process from there. So after that, he has kind of guidelines as far as like, this is the lowest you can sell something for, and
mm.
this is the highest you can sell
What's the
something for.
lowest? What's the lowest?
It depends on the program. We have so pretty much it depends on um it's like, generally
You don't
we
have to
have
say yours. I
anything
don't want
from
to like,
like $25 all the way to $500 is our largest thing.
large
So
package.
it's very vast.
Yeah,
And we
yeah.
try to keep it as customized to people's like schedule, because
Mm,
in my opinion, um I would rather cast my net wide and catch
yeah,
as many fish as I can.
yeah. Okay. Um, so is there anything that living this new lifestyle, and you mentioned it, I know a lot of times owning a gym can be the dream and also become the nightmare. Like, is
Mhm.
there anything that you're dealing with right now that is like a little more of the nightmare spectrum, or like what is the
Yeah.
biggest thing like you're kind of going through now? Like,
Yeah,
uh,
I'm gonna flame these guys. No, I'm just playing. So, so the biggest thing that I would say for someone who is thinking about opening a gym before you get into it, especially when you get to a point where you need employees, you need to be aware that you are taking on a manager role. I had never
mm,
managed people until I started my own business, and I
mm,
immediately had like 5 to 10 people under me. So I didn't
mm,
understand how to get my point across in a correct way. Like I'm
yeah,
very blunt. Like I'll just be like,
yeah,
"Yo, get your shit together." Like you know what I'm
mm,
saying? It's like
yes,
I'm very like to the point, and I focused on my training, just like many of you guys that are probably listening to this.
mm,
Um, so try to take some time to like develop your skills as far as leadership, as far as organization, as far as like coordination, communication. All of these things are super important. So
mm,
now, a year and almost a half later, I'm so much more organized with that stuff, but it is still
mm,
the biggest thing that is difficult. Like for example, if I have someone scheduled for a class and unfortunately like something happens and they can't make it
mm,
there, I have to make sure that someone else is available to fill that role, you know,
yeah,
because only certain
yes.
people are assigned to certain days, you know. So
Yeah. Me and my wife have a home care business as well, so we're very familiar with
oh
like
yeah. Oh yeah.
staffing and stuff. So now that you're doing this, like, what is like your favorite part? Like now that
Oh yeah.
you're the business guy, what is like, you know what, like, yo, this is why I'm doing this type of thing. Like,
Pretty much
what is the
everything
most fun
else.
thing that you
Like
get to do on your
yeah.
own?
I would say like the most fun for me is seeing the I love working with white belts now. Before it was
Mm,
like as a competitor,
mm.
I never wanted to take the
That's an
time.
interesting kind of like change, right? Like, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
it's super weird. It's like you now I just want to be a part in people getting a good introduction to jujitsu because don't get me wrong, like I don't have any PTSD. I had a great
yeah,
introduction to jujitsu,
yeah.
but I want them
I think I was
to
too young to
have
know anything. I was like, oh, this is not
right.
this is not
Yeah,
how it's supposed to go. Oh, okay.
exactly. I just want to clean that process up for people. So I really
Mm,
take a lot of I get a lot of like satisfaction from the people who like finish our beginners course and people who
mm,
are like after the first like 6 months and things like that, or after they get their blue belt, like those beginning processes. I like see a lot of it's really cool. It's really cool.
yeah, it is. I think, especially like for us when we deal with like younger children, like we have a program for kids 3 years old and up. Like my oldest daughter
Nice.
started when she was 3, and it is by far the most challenging 30 minutes of
Oh yeah.
my entire week. But their improvement level, because they're starting at like negative, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
they can just grow into these little people, and then they start going to kindergarten, like where they started from where they were. To me, it seems like it's the biggest change. Like, listen,
Yeah.
before you was crying to your mommy all the time. Now look at you, bro. You out here doing it, man. Yeah. Um. So I know you mentioned that you're working a lot and doing all these kind of hustles. Like, what I guess is like your goal that you're working towards? Like, what is in your situation now? Like, if you could change something today, what do you think it would be?
So I mean, I don't really think I would change too much, truthfully. Like the only thing that I would love to get into more is kind of like I really enjoy the business side of
Mm,
jujitsu now. So I would love to. So now my new job is kind of working on the payment side
mm,
of like payment processing and things like
yeah.
that, like CRMs and things like that for
Mm,
businesses, like specifically jujitsu businesses. So I'm trying to kind of like I would love to be involved in cleaning up the business tactics of
mm.
just jujitsu people in whole. Because most of the people that I know inside of jujitsu, like when they own a jujitsu gym, they literally throw mats down and pray that they can
Come
make
on,
rent.
guys. I
You
saw
know?
a Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
If they
So
build it, they will come. So, well, first of all, one, that's a movie. And second of all, that was the point. If you build it, he will come. And it was supposed to be the other guy that was the grandpa. Like, it wasn't they will come, it was he will come. So, yeah, people really really get that one wrong.
Man,
Yeah.
they just pray, and I just want to. So basically, like my goal through my new job and just like all of my future ventures are just like trying to. I hate using the term empower. I really do hate it, but I want to empower business owners
Yeah.
to make better financial decisions, because
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of really terrible business practices from people in my community that I care about. And I want the businesses to flourish because I want jujitsu to spread. And in order for that to happen, we need to, as a community, in my opinion, kind of clean up the business side of jujitsu, because there's just not a lot of good education or
Yeah.
processes, or like for example, most people that I speak to don't even have a card reader at the front desk. They
Mm.
don't even have a card reader and things like that. They don't even have a system for sales or ads or anything. It's just spray and pray, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, to your point, like jujitsu guys, yeah, like everyone, it was like, unless
I
he was a
want them to
Gracie.
eat, bro. I just want
Yeah.
them to eat. I want
Yeah.
I want
Right. Like,
all of
unless
my
he was a
friends to
Gracie,
eat.
like you throw the mask down and that was what it was. And I think Taekwondo and karate and these guys that have been
Dude,
martial
they
arts
have a
for
good system.
40,
All
50,
of them
60
are.
years, like they figured it out. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
why Taekwondo Academy is using it. And shout out Taekwondo. If they love that,
Yeah.
then I love that for you, kind of thing,
Yeah.
Um, so when you started your gym, we started to think, what would you say was like the biggest roadblock that you were able to overcome?
I think
Or is there something now you're still working on? I know you talked about like developing back end business stuff or
yeah,
uh,
the big thing for me was I was so on kind of like that last point, so what you were mentioning, like the payment processing specifically.
mhm,
The reason that I reach out to this company and got this job with them, or like this partnership with them,
mhm.
is because I was noticing just the sheer amount of fees that I was getting basically stolen from
They're
just
right
every
there.
single month. Like, just as well as I know, like how much that adds up over time, and
Yeah.
it's just absolutely ridiculous. So I was interested in this field, so I kind of like did my research and like found a company that can support it and things like that. Just kind of like developing a product for jiu-jitsu gyms that they can
Mm,
save on those fees, or at
mm.
least like have options.
Yeah. A friend of mine, it's so funny you mentioned that. He worked in like fintech,
Hmm.
finance tech. And he started working for this company. And I was like, oh, how's the new job going? He's like, bro, this whole company, all they do is just interject themselves between small businesses and banks and just get some extra money. Like they really provide no other service but just getting them money. You know what I'm saying? I was
Right.
like, really? It's like, yeah, that's all they do is just get
Dude,
them money. We ended up
and
not working for him after all because it's like, yeah.
so I've heard of the exact same thing. I have a friend who kind of like told me the exact same story, and how like, oh, his dad is like a billionaire or whatever. Like he like made all this money from like that kind of thing, right? And I'm like, okay, so if the market is kind of like predatory in that way, right? Like they're not really providing any sort of value. For
Mhm.
me, I would love to be kind of like the arbiter between like, okay, yes, I can also provide that service, and yes, I do get paid, but I
Mhm.
also provide value to your business to make you more money, give you like
Yeah.
mentoring if you need, like that, like give them an avenue to actually like make money as well as have like a fair fee.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I've just seen a lot of predatory things with that side of the business, and I've seen like just the sheer amount of money that I'm losing from it, and it's
Yeah.
painful, especially
Like I
after
said,
you're putting in all the work.
what is this bill? What?
Yeah,
What is this for? Right? Like,
yeah,
yeah, we just gonna do Zelle, man.
right,
Um,
right.
okay, so was that like seeing kind of getting started, seeing these kind of fees kind of start to pile up, and then working with this other company that kind of helped you like figure that out or whatever? Would you say that kind of helped you get past like, the money drain of
Yeah,
the,
yeah. It kind of like, because what I
the
was
big credit card?
noticing, that wasn't exactly like a massive roadblock, but it was a problem. It was a thorn in my side that was very
Mhm.
difficult to pull out. For a
Yeah.
very long time, I was sitting there and I was like eating at me, and it took me a long time to kind of figure out. But I would say, kind of like to your last question and to this one, a really good example of a roadblock that I've found, especially recently, is literally physical space. I have too many leads coming
Mhm.
in for
Mhm.
how many people are in the building. So I've had to get
Mhm.
really good at kind of like scheduling and making sure that I have enough instructors on the mat to handle the volume, and making sure that I have the like Evan in place to like handle the people, me be there to handle people, and just having, I think just the biggest roadblock, if I had to put one, just overall, not even like recently or in the past, just overall, is systems. Like, you need systems in place for your business to run smoothly, and that is something that a lot of jiu-jitsu gyms lack. They just throw the mats down, they put some Instagram posts up, they're like, it's $150 a month, you're either a member or you're not, and that's it.
No, dude, 100%. Even to your point, like, I think a lot of times, like, we start gyms and we, like, you can get to a certain level, you can get to like 100 students, whatever it is. But what got you to that 100 students is not necessarily going to get you to 200 students. You know what I'm saying? Like, what got you, like, for our home care business, we, things have really ramped up fairly quickly over the last 8 months. But now we're like, oh man, we got to, like,
it's a lot more. It's a lot more.
Now we have to put people in place to do this. Now we have, or else we won't be able to kind of get over that hump of like real, profitability and scalability and stuff like that. Cool. So what do you have like in the future? Like, what is your next like 6 months look like? What does your next like year look like?
So my goal by 2 years is to have at least 200 students. That was my initial goal, was like at least add 100 members per year, right? And now I have a more lofty goal of ideally 500 in 3 years. So I'm going to have to really hit the road running if I'm going to do that. So I think, and this has just been over the last like 3 or 4 months now, that like how I was speaking about like the results of our ads and things like that. Hopefully my investors won't be mad at me for even mentioning that, but, and it varies, like it is a very, very, I think the biggest leverage that you can put on your local business, especially like a service business, is how well your ads perform. Brother, so
we can talk some more offline about that, because
please,
you are speaking the truth, man. So let me just ask you with that real quick. So like, you mentioned the number of leads that you got. Like, how many of those do you think show up for like appointments? Like,
so like, let's say just like for example, let's use 100. I'm not saying that's how many I get. I'm just saying that's, so let's say out of 100, I would expect like the industry average for closing on that is 20%, right? So 20 leads out of 100. So in order to get 20 out of 100, you should probably be expecting to have 40 to 50 leads come in the door. That means 20 to 30 are saying no. And that means also you can't have a massive amount of people churning on the back end, like what if your churn is 3 to 5?
Like, they're like, oh, I still have all these people. Well, you said 15 people left, or their credit card expired, you know what I mean? Or they didn't leave, or just like the credit card ghosted you or something like that. Okay.
Oh yeah, and that's probably another huge roadblock that people don't talk about too much. I mean, people, dude, if it were easier to go to small claims court, bro, like I would be out here. You know what I'm saying? Like people literally just break contract, no problem. They just up and leave. They'll cancel their credit card. It's very infuriating, because me as a business owner and other people as a business owner always like try and put their best foot forward, give the people a good service, give them a free gi or whatever it is, and then they run the moment that they get charged the first time. So it's just a little whack, but that is what it is.
I think I only had 2 instances. One, this guy, and you know what? I'm not saying if you have 10 kids, maybe that should be a red flag or something like that. Maybe it's, South people are different than that. The guy comes in, says he has 10 kids, signed up for a program, gave him all the stuff. I didn't run his card right then and there. And then I ran it and it bounced and he ghosted us. I was like, come on, bro, we're going to come in. And then I had another mom that did that with just some boxing gloves. And I was like, I have your address here. Like, this is, I see you live, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I can show up at your house, man. When I was younger. No, I was kidding. But I mean, for every one of those, there is always like the success of like people that lost their weight or was going through some kind of stuff.
Right.
It's kind of like at this point, it's cost of business, and just we want to do things to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Yeah, because it's like,
go But no, go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry. Because like we're here to help. Like that's the thing. Like business owners are like most of the time, like especially in jujitsu, like we're not in it to make millions, bro.
Yeah.
Like at the peak of the peak of the peak, most business owners are only taking home like a couple, like maybe 100K at the
Mm,
peak of jujitsu, and
yeah.
that's not even a crazy amount of money anymore. You know, so it's like
It's not
we,
100K. You used to think
yeah,
like, oh, $100,000.
that's pretty
Where,
good, right?
where do
Nah,
I go,
yeah,
man? I
yeah,
mean,
inflation, not a
depending
chance.
on how
Like,
you structure it, but like, yeah, it's like taxes, it's this, and that. And like, fortunately, rich people have come up with enough rich backdoor ways that if you hang out with enough rich people, you can learn these kind of
you
like
can
secrets.
figure
Like,
it out.
oh, that's a great idea. What? No wonder you guys are so rich. You just kind of game the whole system. Maybe
Yeah.
like, if you can't beat them, join them. But, yeah, man. So, okay, you've been doing this for a while. You've trained all over these places, been in like the superstar cool guys academies and stuff like that. Like where you are now, what if you had like a crystal ball, what would you say is like a challenge on the horizon for academy owners?
I mean, I am not a political guy. I'm not.
Mm.
I'm
I love
not.
when people start with that answer. It's like,
I know, and then it's
I'm
gonna
not
get
saying
really
you're an asshole,
political.
but no, I'm just kidding. Go ahead. Just
I've
kidding.
had a lot of like, and I don't have an opinion one
Because
way or
you're in
another.
Virginia, and that's a real
Yeah,
like
I
Virginia,
don't
DC, like there's a lot of politics there, I'm sure.
like, dude, I could not care less what these kids or parents want to do, or
Mm,
adults what they want to do, but I will not be allowing trans women in my
mm.
women's only class. I won't.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that is something that I do think that you're going to see more as gym owners. I have had a child come in as a fox with
As a
makeup
fox,
on her face, and I had to tell her you cannot have makeup all over your face when you're rolling on the mat with these other kids.
that's
This is,
amazing.
I'm talking 7 years old, man. Like there's some weird stuff that's starting to happen. So I think that's something that I'm navigating. That's definitely
Yeah,
something that I've had to navigate very recently.
yeah. I mean, well, we're like 20 minutes away from San Francisco,
Yeah.
so there's all kinds of. And my thing is like this: look, you're not gonna come in like we'll sometimes have kids with like colored hair and stuff like that. Like just off the bat, you want to be a fox? I love the fox. I identify
Yeah.
as a wolf because I'm
Yeah.
hungry like a wolf. You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
A dog is super chill. We think he identifies as a cat. That's
Yeah.
totally great. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
fine. That's fine.
Just do you. And as long as you're not, hurt nobody, we don't have a women's class like that
Right.
anymore.
Yeah.
But that's interesting. Okay, I did not expect that answer,
That's
but
not where I wanted to go. That's just something that is literally as of like this last week has come up. So that was like something that and I had to, and I took myself out of it. What I did was I messaged individually every single one of our females. I sent out a thing, and I was like, hey guys, what is your opinion on this? And I left it up to a vote. So I
yeah,
think that that's just something that like, don't let your as a business owner, like don't let your opinions, like whatever you feel, like don't let it affect the business. Like
yeah, that's
let the
huge.
community decide. Let them
Yeah, that's super
decide.
huge. Like I think also like to that point, like you can, like for example, we started working with this organization 2018. It's this group called All of Us or None. They do like rights restoration for formerly incarcerated people, and like I'm super passionate about like criminal justice reform and stuff like that. And people that come on in, I'm not gonna preach to you that type of stuff.
Right.
There are some ballot initiatives that I'm gonna say, you know what, guys, vote no on this, vote yes on that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's
Right.
all you gotta do. Vote no on this, yes on that, and you're good to go. And if you want to have a conversation, we got a conversation about why I feel that this benefits all of us type stuff.
Right.
But I think it's one thing to use your platform like that for sure. And then I know some people that are very adamant about their beliefs, and
Yeah.
you're gonna attract those people. And if that's what you want to do, then I love that for you. Like I said,
Right.
as long
Yeah.
as you're not stomping puppies to death, I mean,
Right. Yeah.
you're
Just
you're
leave the puppies out of it, and we're
yeah,
good,
you're
bro. Like,
fine
yeah,
with
I
me,
don't.
man.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so what would you say where you're at right now? What would you say if you have someone who is like starting an academy, they're kind of like stuck in a rut, they've hit like a plateau, or they're just in a space where they're not happy. Like what would your advice be to them about making the changes that they want in their academy?
contact me. No. So I really do think shameless plug. All right. So
no, go for it.
I think that what I did was I started doing a lot of like studying and self-improvement. Like I took the
I've read like hundreds. Wait, I can't say hundreds, maybe 150 plus some. But what are your favorite books to read? Just
oh man, I mean anything that Alex Hormozi puts out,
Fox.
I'm on it.
Bro,
Dude,
we'll talk
I'm
about
on
it.
it.
Yeah.
Like that was the original like one
the
that
guy.
got me into reading. I live and die by a lot of what he does.
Yes.
And that was really like I would say is the biggest he really you can hear him in the way that I speak typically.
He's the
Like
guy.
people
He's the guy.
that know me tell me that I just regurgitate him a lot. So
I mean,
him
do what smart people do, and then you will be a smart person, right? Isn't that
yeah.
what that works?
And like Never Split the Difference is a great one. You know, I'm really
the negotiation one.
exactly. Yeah.
Oh, yes, that is a great book. Yes, I love that guy. Chris Voss.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's a great one. Okay. Last question. So, what advice would you give to someone that's trying to open up a gym? You talk to somebody, you had a tournament, and your buddy that you're seeing always train together is, man, you know what, man, I'm thinking about doing this. What would you tell them?
Don't do alone. You'll go broke. You'll go broke. You will. Like I would say most of the gym owners that I know that have gone into it alone have failed. And I tried it by myself. Not even by myself, because I was doing my program out of somewhere else and it still wasn't even that profitable or successful or anything. But now, I mean, my business grows every single month to month. And I am only required to be there 2 days a week. You know, like you need to have a good team of people around you. You do.
Yeah. Okay. Gannon, bro, thank you so much for coming on here, dude. This has been so fun. And like, I talk to people all day long. So this is like great to talk to other people in the business. I think what you said has been like, dude, gems for people that are trying to do this. If you're listening to this,
Thank you, man.
This is like good stuff from people that are doing it. I think, like I said, you know, if I want to learn about something, I want to ask like, okay, have they done it before? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
Two, are you doing better than how I've done it before? You ask those questions, bro.
Right.
I'm all freaking ears, man. So, well, thank you so much. Stick around. We're gonna do a little after talk. And you guys, this has been the very first ever BJJ and Business Marketing Podcast with your host, David Freeman, our very first guest, Gannon Lang. It's like, yay, we'll put the applause music. Yay, press applause music. All right, hold on 1 second here. Boom. Stop recording.
Awesome.